Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Pillars of Eternity. Let's try this again with the microphone unmuted. So, we've managed to level up, both of us actually. Left click on that. And now we're going to put 1 point into survival, which will get us to rank 3, which will give us some bonus movement. 1 point into mechanics, so we can pick some traps. Excuse me. Let me try that again, so we can undo some traps so we don't die horribly. And then a point in athletics, just to, well, because athletics seem to be very, very useful. And knockdown, because it's a very potent ability, because we can charge at and hit enemies and knock them down and hit them easier. If I'm rushing through this a little bit, it's because I've done this already.
How may I help?
And it turns out so that's how you cast spells. Give him a blast. Okay. I was trying to figure out how to do that a minute ago. Right, so we're just gonna rank survival straight up to level 3. And that's for simple reason is the bonus movement speed is always helpful. It basically means he will be able to get in and out of a fight easier. Now I skimmed through these last time. This one confuses enemies. This one is a web spell. I don't like web spells. I've had bad experiences with them, and most of the time your party will get stuck and the enemies will just sort of not. This means that every time an enemy takes damage, it takes more damage, but it just seems strange. I don't know who Consul Hout is, but he has some cool spells, and this does damage to a target and then gives health to the wizard. But instead of that, I'm going to use, I think I went with, Parasitic Staff, because wizards here seem to like to hit things in the face with sticks. Chill Fog's kind of cool, but it does freeze and blind, and blind I don't have yet to find. This could be useful if you had a wizard with a bow, but we don't. I'm confused. Oh, right. This makes him a little. This is basically supercharges him for a couple of minutes, or for about a minute actually. What I went with last time is Necrotic Lance, because it sounds really cool and it does quite a lot of corrode damage. So I'm not sure what it is that he's got that's giving him the bonus damage, but. And then we need to take this guy and head on up here and have a word with Tenfrith, the dwarf we rescued earlier. Ah, it's you, my savior. He makes a sweeping gesture to indicate the kitchen around you. It's so good to be back. Do not think I will let this go unrewarded. I have decided you have earned the right to one of my most closely guarded secrets, and my dearest recipe. After this, you will eat nothing else. The party's gained recipe, savory pie. The savory pie to keep you hale and hearty. May it serve you well in your travels. And if we actually go here into crafting, under food, we can actually make a couple of things. Duke's Own Beef Loaf, which gives 10 max endurance and 2 might for 300 seconds, which is 5 minutes. Or Pearlwood Chicken, which does the same except it's Constitution for 5 minutes. Oops. Or Stew, which is half the time, but it does +1 dexterity and +1 for perception. Now, okay. So as we go along, we'll we'll collect ingredients. Now for this, we need grain and beer. I think we can buy some here at the tavern, but not right now. But +1 might, +1 perception for a fair amount of time. Yeah, there's quite a few of these, and presumably the ones that we get given or learn recipes for
Indeed.
are more useful than the ones we start off with in vanilla. But now we need to go see about a dead dwarf, or see a dead dwarf about a thing. It's really hard to say. Like I said, I've done this bit before, but the microphone was muted, and Hoping that I'm
Of
actually
course.
recording this time. You know what, let me... Yep. Oh, sorry about that. Wrong button. Yeah, I'm actually recording this time. No. I don't really like to tab out of the game if I can avoid it, but you know what? I'll be honest. Better to tab out now than find out not recording again. Caldera de Beranzi. The squat, distended body of an elderly dwarf woman dangles from a thin, crooked bow that sags at the tug of her noose. The bloated purple flesh of her neck, worn away in patches like moth-eaten linen, bulges over the rope that suspends her, and her lifeless head lolls forward rigidly from one side to the other when the breeze shifts. You perceive a faint glow around her that casts no light on its surroundings, but there is a tepid warmth to it, and you feel somehow you could reach out and touch it, not with your hands, but with some aspect of yourself that has no worldly dimension. And reach out for the woman? Sure. You take a deep breath, clearing your mind, focusing on your objective. As you exhale, you feel yourself spreading out toward the hanging woman, perceiving all that lies between you and her with new, unfamiliar awareness. Once you've expanded enough to reach her, there's a sudden jolt to your mind, a ringing, electric surge of images and words and sounds. Involuntarily, you shut your eyes and you feel yourself being pulled down to some deeper consciousness in a space occupied only by you and the hanging woman, and when you open them again, she's staring at you with eyes clouded in a milky fog, her body still swaying in a wind you no longer feel from a tree that stands planted in a misty void. The woman gives a slow nod of her head, the rope creaking as she does so, and she smiles at you.
Have you come here for me, dear, or have you gotten lost? Ah, it is both, I think. Yes?
Am I imagining this?
No, I think not. A pity that. It would be simpler. A mercy, even. To not have to wander anymore, no? Alas, we are here, you and I. Wherever here may be.
I think I survived a bivouac. Do you know why that would be?
Did you now, dear? My, that would be something, wouldn't it? Could be luck, could certainly be. A storm can be a careless thing.
Right, continue. I keep forgetting that.
Or maybe it got its hands around your soul but couldn't pick it up. A soul can be heavy if it stayed in one piece through its time. Strong souls, we call them in the trade. Cold, I mean. Called them. Those days are all behind me, no?
How are you able to speak to me?
Is that what we're doing? Perhaps it just seems that way. Perhaps it is the easiest way for your mind to make sense of it. I think it is a very good choice.
I need to understand something that's happened to me. She nods, a look of pity on her face as though consoling a child.
The world looks a little different than it used to, is that it? Feels like you're noticing things for the first time that have always been there.
Yeah.
You have seen past the shroud. It only takes an instant. Your soul remembers, yes? Remembers how it sees when it leaves the body, like being reminded of a dream you had forgotten. You are a watcher now, and a watcher you will stay.
Okay, and what's a watcher?
What indeed? Long hours have many animancers spent studying such things. Not I, oh, not I. I'll tell you what I know, though, since fair is fair, and here we are visiting, you and I, and it reminds me of better times. Souls pass on, some say through Audra stones, which are the blood veins of the world. They leave the world for a time and are reborn into it, sometimes more than they were before, but usually less and seldom the same. For all souls there is a time where they do not live, yet have not passed on, and those souls roam the world, same as you or I, either leaving or lost. But no one sees them because they have forgotten how.
Uh-huh.
A watcher sees, though, knows what to look for. And sometimes they know a person just by looking at them, know where they've been in ages past when their bodies were other bodies. See memories even their owner can't recall. A wonder to behold when all goes well. A wonder!
What did you mean when all goes well?
Oh, nothing to be afraid of, I'm sure. It's just much to take in for some. Sometimes there's trouble sleeping or other difficulties.
She smiles at you reassuringly, fanning out a tuft of long whiskers that sprouts from one of her cheeks.
You should see old Merwald. He could tell you much more than I. A watcher just like you. Helped many in his day. Took up in an old keep no one would claim. Not far, not far. Kadnua, beyond the Black Meadow. He will welcome the company.
You said souls break apart over time. Did she?
Oh, yes. Entropy. Rimagan's work. We know little of why or how. We lose pieces of ourselves when we die and pick up pieces of others when we are born again, but less than what we lost. We tried to stop it with the animantic sciences, but with little success. No.
Okay, well that sounds terrible.
A very small few resist Rimergan's influence and stay together through some force of defiance, at least for a time. But they all succumb eventually, I think.
Okay, I want to know something about you.
Me? I'll bore you to tears, though.
Who are you?
And here I thought you'd come to visit me in particular. Caldara de Baranzi, of the Valian Royal Academy of Animantic Sciences. Not the greatest of their number, but I came here all the same because this was where help was needed.
And what happened to you? She laughs, a rasping, choked cackle escaping between rows of buttery yellow teeth, causing her body to bob up and down with each spasm. Seeing your blank expression, she catches herself.
Oh, come now. Such a question. As though the answer were plain as a rope tied for strangling. Allow an old dwarf her last bit of cheer.
I like her, she's funny.
Well, I came where I was needed, didn't I? Offered my services to Lord Radric for a pittance. A humble pittance. I was to examine the Lord's wife, see why the gods have seen fit to poison her womb. Studied her for months, looked high and low for impurities, tested her valence, the permeability of her essence. Do you know what I found?
I'm gonna guess nothing, but tell me.
Nothing at all. A healthy woman, head to toe, blessed with a beautiful soul. Such a sweet woman, too. Meek, but warm-hearted. A few months' time, and the lord of the house demanded answers. For a time, I told him what he wanted to hear. Oh, yes, my lord. She is riddled with imbalances. I must have time to cure her. As the birth drew near, he grew impatient, as lords do. And this is where I've ended up.
Okay, so what's an animancer?
A student of the soul. Something so basic, yet so poorly understood. But so many breakthroughs have been made in my lifetime. Had been. To hear the locals tell it, we're a gang of soul manglers that preys upon the weak-minded. And the worst of us are. But the best of us? The best? Inspirations, miracle workers. My parents were soul twins. Miserable before they met, empty inside. It was an animancer who helped one find the other. Turned their lives around. You wouldn't believe the stories. Amnesiacs helped to remember their lives. The suicidal brought back from the brink of oblivion. The elderly afforded extra moments to say their goodbyes. How soon we forget when we're afraid.
Indeed.
It's a fascinating science. A fascinating time to be alive in a place like Deerwood that does not control the research, no? I love the Valian Republics for many things, but their recent caution will leave them behind, I fear.
Farewell, then. Goodbye, my dear. It was lovely visiting. Caldera closes her eyes, and her head slumps forward over the noose. Your surroundings seem to bleed into your vision from some unknown place of waiting. Trax was granted Crucible of the Soul. Okay. Aleph looks at you through narrowed eyes. Are you all right? You seemed lost just now. Cool. I'm a watcher. His arched eyebrows recede into his hood. Well, that is interesting. He gives you a sly grin. And I expect that explains how you survived Bivouac, In any case, I appreciate your honesty. Since we're traveling together, it's probably wise for us to share these things. Do you know anything about Watchers? Only that they're rare and they seem to have unique insights into certain soul conditions. He coughs, as you just demonstrated. Let's continue on. Right. New quest. The Old Watcher. Travel to Cade Nua. Okay.
17 and a half.
Visions and whispers. What's 17 and a half? The smell of pipe smoke, at once earthy and sweet, winds its way into your nostrils. Your eyes trace the smoke to its origin, where you find a broad man with straw-colored hair leaning against a mossy rock wall, his pipe held to his lips with one meaty hand. He looks you directly in the eye, but the look is not aggressive. He regards you with a peculiar smirk.
17 and a half. Well, could be 18, depending on how you count the dwarf woman.
I'm sorry, what?
The dwarf woman. You were trying to figure out whether to count her as a full person. I think you oughta.
What are you talking about?
The people hanging from the tree. 18 of them. Well, last I counted, anyway.
Ella frowns. Is that what you people do for fun around here?
Name's Adair. Though to the people around here, might as well be 19.
Uh-huh.
Don't think I'd put you much higher than 22, 23 tops. You look like the sort that likes to get involved.
What makes you interested in the dwarf woman? He looks at you a moment, his brow arched, his smirk broadens.
I was smoking over here, saw you staring at her. Twice I refilled my pipe. You never so much as blinked. Your mouth was so slack I took you for a Radric at first.
Impossible. I don't drool half as much. Do you know what a watcher is?
Careful, friend. Let's not use that word round here. There'd be any number of Radric bootlickers within earshot. Ciphers, animancers, watchers. Same thing in the eyes of folks around here, Radric especially. They come through these parts all the time with their cures, preying on the desperate. None of them are who they claim to be. Of course, seeing you with that funny look, I'd be halfway inclined to believe you were having some kind of communion with that dwarf. Either case, maybe I'm not 19 after all. No offense.
You think you're going to be hanged?
The town's had it in for me for a long time now. Only fellow who ever stuck up for me, well, he's number 18 up there. My headman on the farm. Used to be my captain during the war.
Why was your headman hanged? Got involved. Well, Redrick sent some men down here the other day. Said it had it on good authority someone in town was working with Kolsk, plotting Redrick's overthrow. Said if he didn't come forward right then and there, they'd hang every last one of us. No one was coming forward, so Swithin, that's my headman, he steps up and says it's him. They took him at his word. He sighs and shakes his head. Bound to happen sooner or later, if not for plotting against Redrick, then for protecting me. Who's Kolsk? Someone who got tired of all the hangings. He's on the run now. Probably will be till they catch him. The war? Saints' War. Only one in my lifetime. Fella decides he's the living incarnation of Aothus, overthrows Red Saris, marches on Deerwood. So he gave him a Deerwooden hello. What's a Deerwooden hello?
We blew him up.
He smiles at this, but it's a smile of one recounting a joke for effect rather than enjoyment. Who is Aothus? God of rebirth and redemption. Formerly, anyhow. Maybe they call him something different where you're from. Other questions? What does the town have against you?
Pick the wrong god. That's what it comes down to. Used to be a lot of Aethys worshippers in Gilded Vale. That mess of rocks over there, that was a temple to him, to give you some idea.
Well, that's delightful.
Then one day, somebody named Widewind shows up on Deerwood's doorstep. Says he's the living flesh of Aethys. Got an army with him. Suddenly, Aethys isn't so popular in these parts. My brother Woden and me, neither of us believed it. No way was that Aethys. He enlisted, then I did too. But, he didn't make it back.
Uh-huh.
After the war, people took to punishing Aethys worshippers, accusing them of treason. Got real ugly, especially after the Legacy started. Folks needed someone to blame. I was safe because I fought, but then this rumor starts that my brother, that he was on the wrong side. And I wasn't so safe anymore. Until my headman stepped in and said they'd have to hang him to get to me.
I had a feeling he's a recruitable.
Seems that's no longer a concern.
Yeah.
Of course, the townies don't do the hanging these days, but when Raedric's men come, they got no problem doing the pointing.
Yeah. You can see why I was eager to leave. If you're next to be hanged, what are you still doing here? Drinking, mostly. But in fact, I'm on my way out. Just haven't figured out where I'm going yet. Not a whole lot of places here that don't think Widewind's legacy started with Widewind. We could travel together. Where are you headed? Some place called Caed Nua. There's an old watcher there who might be able to help me.
Seem to remember hearing something about that years ago. He tamed that place. People would seek him out for all kinds of things. Troubles of the soul, questions for the departed. Of course, that was back when you didn't have to say watcher with a hush on your breath. A man such as that, there'd be things I'd want to ask him. Don't know why I never thought of it before.
Well, looks like he's recruited.
Not sure how I feel about setting out with a stranger. And a strange one at that. But, truth be told, you might be the only one in town who wouldn't feel some relief seeing me swing from that tree.
Yep. That's a fine reason if I ever heard one. Oh good, a depressing elf. That's what we need.
Alright then. Guess I'll do some sightseeing. Long as you're not the one picking the sights.
He tilts his head forward and gives you a pointed look. Yeah, I can see that. Let's get going. Yay, we now have another guy who's got his own armor. Saints War armor, huh? Peter wore this armor during his time in the Saints War. Its dark color is unusual as is its power. Although he admits that the armor has pulled him from the brink of death on several occasions, he claims that no one else has ever handled the armor. How it became enchanted is a mystery even to him. Grant second chance on unconscious per one rest. Okay. Yeah, let's see what... Oh, plus 10 ability area of effect. Okay, gotcha. And then these are... I have somebody's gloves of dexterity and my awesome cloak of awesomeness. I have a black face and a white guy portrait. Can I tweak this? Yeah, I think I can tweak this. Can I move this over so I can actually see the guy I'm... here, we'll just use a... There we go. We'll use a portrait with a mask so it doesn't matter what we actually look like. Right. My map. Nope, that isn't the map. Map. Try clicking on the map symbol. Temple of Aethys, road south. Blackhammer Smithy. Ingrid's house. The windmill. And the road east. We had a quest, didn't we? Journal, I think. Not the old watcher. Smith's shipment. And the old watcher is... Mirwald. Okay. Yeah. Southeast. So, let's try the... Let's head for the road south and see if we can manage to get out of town. Correctly exit town that way. Huh, so 98 endurance and 490 health, huh? So we're actually doing a little bit better than the proper warrior. Who are you? Been thinking about joining family over in Deerford. They have it far better than us. Okay. So, where are we headed? Okay, so there's Caed Nua. Magrin's Fork, huh? Well, let's hear. We have 4 hours to get there. Fair enough. Constitution affects endurance and health of the character, and their fortitude defense may also be used in scripted interactions to endure grueling physical circumstances. Okay, fair enough. Check our map. Okay, so this is a pretty good sized area. Well, let's be on our guard.
Laying low.
Yeah, last thing we need to do is die horribly because we were stealthily scouting. Hey, Wolf. Can you open up with a spell and give it a blast?
Aye?
Lavaru beyond seek!
Ooh! That's awesome. Okay. Let's come over here and we'll loot the loot the giblets anyway. Yep, one wolf hide. That was awesome. Ah, here's some stuff. Admith's Wart, I think.
Yes?
Okay, so we can do that. How is that done? I guess it's per rest. Alright. Apparently, me edit this grimoire. Because this one I don't want. I wanted to have this so we can break out a weapon. Wizards have the ability. Excuse me. Wizards have the ability to learn a staggering number of spells, but they're always limited by the capacity of their grimoires. At any given time, a grimoire may only contain 4 spells of each level. Click on a spell in the right panel to remove it from the grimoire. Add spells to empty slots by clicking this on the spell in the left panel. Okay. Yes. This is a grimoire cooldown active. Okay. Oh, I see. Yeah. Probably could have used this instead of the other thing.
Yes?
Not really sure how the
Of course.
some games have a mana meter, but this one doesn't seem to have it, so crossroads, so there's apparently nothing off this way. Alright. Map. Well, let's head down this way. Hello, giant crystals. What do we have here? We have a dead guy with a fine poleaxe. Hello. Let's see. Fine poleaxe. Versatile poleaxe is a powerful and flexible weapon that can deal devastating blows even against the fully armored opponent. A straight-bladed axe head is opposed by a hammer, allowing the wield to switch between different damage types as circumstances require. Ooh, plus 4 accuracy, plus 15% damage. What are you wielding anyway? Saber one-handed versus a poleaxe, which is a two-handed weapon. Okay, we're gonna set you to the poleaxe. Although it's playing cape. I don't remember how to get to your.
Hey.
See? C is the button. Right. Constant recovery, huh? Yes. Okay. Right. Yeah, so he's... There we go. So he'll have a slightly slower attack, but he'll be able to hit very, very hard. Well, Adra formation. So this is an Adra, huh? That's interesting. Of course, doesn't need to have done this guy any good. Screen scrolls very slowly. Not sure if it's something I can or even should bother to adjust. But the metal with the smith stuff is supposed to be over this way. It's supposed to be to the east. I don't know why I tried to go west. Yeah, this seems to be leading us south, which isn't really the way we want to be going. Although, Can we... nope. That ain't it. Alright, well let's head up this way and see if we can see if there's another path out of the... off the map. Hello. There. That one. Get that one. Okay, but you're probably not going to like what happens. Here you go. You can start shooting. Okay, no. With the bow, yes. You can start shooting that guy. And you can charge. Charge in.
Be on seek!
There we go. Okay, you need to switch back to your sword and
Charge!
get stabbed. Okay. Why is a paladin trying to kill me? Okay. Is that everybody? Seems to be. Right. Oh my goodness. Silver coins. Ludrana's orders. It seems I have no choice but to provide you with instruction. Rydrick's forces are spread thin, and the road through the wilds to the south of Gilded Vale lies unguarded. Given these favorable circumstances, I'm sure that even you can manage to handle a peasant or two. The archers tell me Kolsk's men made south after their escape. If you should happen to retrieve one of their number, I may be convinced to forgive your previous mistakes. For the last time, you are to keep clear of Defiance Bay. Know that if you cannot be trusted to acquire a useful specimen with even a modicum of discretion, I have no qualms whatsoever about using what materials I have at my disposal instead. O doesn't sound very pleasant. The wand, which does what? Magical instruments often lack serious firepower compared to bows, crossbows, and firearms. So the wand's flexible damage types help wizards deal with heavily armored opponents more easily. Wands are easily distinguished from scepters by their tapered points. Okay. Well, it seems like it'll be something for Wizard Boy, or Alof. Mail armor. Oof. Mail armor is popular for its protective qualities, especially against slashing attacks. Mail is composed of thousands of small rings of steel that form a flexible mesh. Normally worn over a padded jacket, mail protects well but restricts its wearer in combat. Clever. So this doesn't do as well against freeze damage. Padded armor. Interesting. Oh, it's right because it's grabbing from both of them. Hello. Okay. Well, a helmet doesn't... Helms don't do anything, apparently. Okay. Here. You know what? Let's... Here, let's grab everything, and then we will sort through our inventory in a second here. Right. Okay, no, that looks silly. Yeah, helms don't actually do anything, apparently. Unless there's something I'm missing. There you go, have a hat. Yeah. Here, we're gonna try the ring mail instead. I like the look of the scale better, but yeah. I like the... We'll probably get some better stuff later. You found a new grimoire. Grimoires often contain spells that your wizard may not know. For a small cost, you can learn those spells from the description panel. You may also fill additional grimoires with different spells. Place them in your wizard's quick item slots to switch them, but be careful. Switching grimoires will temporarily lock wizards out of spell casting for several seconds. Okay. Here, you can have that. Right. So, what did we learn? Hello. Target becomes paralyzed. Okay, now. Shield fog. Ghost blades. Okay, that might be worth learning. Let's try learning that. Hang on. So, okay, it says a cost. So we have 247 gold, right? Right. If we 100 copper. Ugh. You know what? We'll just learn that when we level up. But I think it means that if we switch these out, he should be... hello. So, does that mean that you can cast... Oh, nope, they're recharging. So, okay, so we can only cast once. He knows even if they're already in the grimoire. Got it. Fortunately, there's an animation for Arcane Assault. Unleashes a bolt of magical energy from the grimoire that inflicts raw damage and dazes targets in the area. Okay, so is there something particular about the grimoires that allow him to do that? A scepter. Oops. No, wrong button. Okay, so... No, wrong button. Here. This, and then compare. And they're basically the same thing. Okay. So whether we want him to have a red glowing rod or a purple glowing rod. I like the purple, or the red glowing one. Right. I meant to sell that stuff. Let's open our stash here. Toss this. Toss this stuff. Dagger can go away. Clubs can go away. So can the wolf hide. The cheese. That. Throw that in there. That. We will toss that in there. And that. Okay. Right. Map.
Indeed.
Right. So is there an out? Black Meadow. Here we go. Take you 4 hours to complete your journey from Agron's Fork to Black Meadow. Fair enough. And I think... Oops. Oh, we've gone way over time. Well, let's load in, and then I'll end the episode here. Ah, stop it. Okay, so this has been Pillars of Eternity with Triax 2. I really hope I've been recording all this time. I will see you guys next time. Bye.